Hello, thank you for your interest in the project management services offered by Collins Management. We've come to realize that there are times when a community and its manager can benefit from somebody stepping in with a wide range of experience and who can have an exclusively project-based focus while bridging the gap between the board, the manager, the contractors and experts, the homeowners and residents, and leave the manager time to focus on the management of the community without being distracted and pulled in a dozen different directions. And that's where I come in. My name is Dean Jackson. I am Collins Management's Director of Project Management. And here's a little bit about me. I have over 20 years in the community management industry, and my experience includes managing high-rise buildings, mid-rise buildings, condominiums, planned developments, and single-family homes. I've trained managers and managed large and small projects of many kinds, such as re-roofing a high-rise building, paving, boiler replacement, stucco repair, water intrusion, construction defect litigation, waterproofing, tennis court resurfacing, siding repair, multi-building and high-rise, carpet replacements, negotiation of telecommunications contracts, lighting retrofits, administration of insurance claims, litigation, mediation, and the list does go on. And now my focus is exclusively on the management and administration of specialized projects rather than the management of communities. There is some confusion sometimes between what a project manager does and what a construction manager does. A project manager is usually brought in at the inception of a project, and therefore they have a comprehensive understanding of the client's goals. They work with the client to gain an understanding of all the aspects of the projects and the expectation of the client. So at the end of the day, the client will get just what they want. A construction manager will only manage the construction portion of the project. They'll also manage the contractor working on the project. The construction manager is an expert in the building trades. It includes electrical, carpentry, plumbing, general construction, and they oversee the day-to-day operations from pre-construction through the punch list. Essentially, they are a project manager, but they have a specific area of knowledge and expertise. The two roles are also differentiated by their focus. At the end of the day, the construction manager is responsible to make sure that the project is technically sound, and the project manager is more responsible for the budget, the timeline, the interaction with all of the various parties, including the board, the contractor, the construction manager, the homeowners. The project manager will also field the inevitable complaints and try to make the project a win-win for all of the parties. Some differences between project management and the construction manager. The project manager is involved at the inception of the project, and the construction manager is involved at the construction phase. The project manager knows the client's goals, and the construction manager is an expert at the building trades. The project manager develops and manages the budget and manages the entire project plan, while the construction manager develops specifications for construction. The project manager schedules contracts, they manage the budget, the contracts, the timelines, the logistics. The construction manager will manage the construction and supervise the contractors. The project manager will take phone calls from residents, and the construction manager generally doesn't do that. The project manager will schedule unit entries, and the construction manager generally doesn't do that. The project manager will field a complaint like you got paint on my favorite fern, and the construction manager wouldn't take that call. Now, it's important to note that you won't always need a construction manager. There are times where the project manager can step into those shoes and perform those functions as well. And it really is on a case-by-case basis, and it will depend on the technical nature of the project. And here's kind of how the project will go. The board will initiate the project, and they will bring in the project manager. The project manager will begin the bidding process for a construction manager when one is necessary. And once that is in, the construction manager will develop the scope of work and specifications, and they'll manage the bidding process for a contractor. And again, the project manager will do this when there's no construction manager. And once those numbers are in and those proposals come back, the project manager will develop and track the budget. They'll manage the schedule, they'll coordinate, and they'll communicate between all the parties. And then as we get into the project itself, the contractor does the construction based upon the scope of work that was prepared for them by the construction manager. And they'll work with that scope of work all the way through the punch list into project completion. The construction manager, when one's been engaged, will supervise the contractor and work with them to make sure that they follow all the specifications and the scope of work up until the end of the project. And again, when there is a project manager and no construction manager, the project manager would take on that function. And the project manager would be responsible for quality control, dealing with billing, dealing with punch lists and closing out the project and getting warranties and such. Here are the 5 phases of project management. There's project initiation. That's where the issue is recognized and we figure out the best way to address it. Project planning, that's where bidding comes in, negotiation of contracts, budgeting, scheduling, planning special assessments when they're necessary. Then there's project execution. This is the construction or other activity that defines the project. This is where the construction manager would perform their function. The project manager would facilitate scheduling, communication, unit access, tracking the budget, and they would step into the construction manager's shoes when there is no construction manager. And there's performance monitoring. That's quality control, addressing problems, keeping the project on track. And then we close the project. That's the punch list. That's getting warranties together, the final billing or the retention billing. And I do track the budget. I make the budget realistic. I allow for change orders if they are necessary. And then I track each payment, the date of the invoice, the date of the payment, the check numbers and everything. And I note what the payment was for. And if there's a change order, I note what that was for. So at the end of the project, hopefully it'll come in under budget, but you'll know what was spent and why it was spent. And there will be times when the board will be asked to approve change orders. And there may be a threshold upon which the board would allow me to approve change orders without their intervention. It's all up to the desires of the individual board of directors. And again, the use of a project manager rather than your community manager is about effective time management. Because projects of any kind can take focus from day-to-day HOA management, and HOA management can take focus away from the projects, but that doesn't need to be the case. Project manager can manage bidding, contractor availability, negotiate and review contracts, deal with change orders, review progress payments, interact with committees, communicate with the board of directors and the interested parties, manage the project budget, make a ton of phone calls, go on site when necessary, deal with problems, keep things organized, plan the project, address complaints, manage insurance claims and meet the adjusters and the contractors and the homeowners who may have just had a loss, and much more. In addition to construction projects, sewer lateral projects, balcony inspections, insurance claims, dry rot repair, roofing, there are a lot of other things that I can also help you with that you might not have considered. This isn't an exhaustive list, but I can help with elevator modernization, from hiring an expert consultant through the design process for the interior of the cab, through permitting and construction. Paving, sealing, and striping, from the bid process through communication, towing when it's necessary, all the way to the end of the project. Gate and garage door replacement or repair. Carpet replacement, all the way from the design phase through installation. Governing document revisions, from drafting preliminary rules prior to the attorney's review. Attorney review is very important, to managing CC&R and bylaw amendments, including bidding out attorneys and inspectors of election, to surveying and communicating with homeowners. 5-year sprinkler certifications, including scheduling the inspectors, getting access to the homes with locksmiths when necessary, re-inspections, correspondence with unit owners and residents, the posting of notices, concrete grinding and concrete cutting, painting and dry rot. Now this is a summer project, and if you haven't already started on your summer projects, now's the time because there's a lot to do and not a lot of time to do it in. I can review and negotiate contracts. This isn't a substitute for the attorney, but it can help save on their time and therefore their cost. I could do site reviews for risk management issues because it's more than just falling trees and trip hazards. It could be a rotting stairway, it could be a rusty fence. Now, the good thing is projects outside of the scope of the management agreement are considered special projects. So whether it's your community manager or the project manager performing the task, the hourly rate is exactly the same. The service doesn't generate additional income from Collins Management. It allows the associations to effectively undertake major projects without sacrificing focus on the day-to-day management of the community. So let's get started on the summer projects. As you can see, there's a lot of steps to it. You have to decide on which projects you're doing, get bids for the construction manager if you're using one, award their contract, review the scope of work and the bid package, go out to bid for the project for the contractors, get on the contractor's schedule, start the project, hopefully by June or so they can complete it before the end of the summer. There's a lot to do. So please let your manager know if you'd like my help on a project. Thank you so much for your time.